What's up? So we're back. We're going to do another track breakdown. A bunch of you guys were requesting Resilience, which I was really happy about because it's one of my favorite songs I've ever made. There's a lot going on in this track. We'll probably talk more about effects in this video than the last one just because there's really a lot of processing going on here. But I made this whole track in kind of a marathon day and everything just turned out the way I wanted it to. I'm really, really happy with it. So I'm excited to dive back in and honestly figure out like what went right with this one. Hope you enjoy. All right. This is just a quick note. I'm editing the video and I realized that when I made this song, I was in the middle of like kind of downsizing my studio. I was trying to come up with like the most minimal setup I could to make music. And I settled on this. I'll like put it up on the screen, but it was literally just like my piano with a screen and then like an audio interface. And it was like off to the side on like two chairs. And I found that I went like too far, like I got too minimal. And I sold like a bunch of gear and I was making music with literally just that like piano, computer, audio interface. And I learned a lot. I made one of my favorite songs I ever made, but ended up kind of buying like more of like a desk again. But it was a fun experiment, and I just thought I'd share that because I thought it was kind of funny. Anyway, back to the video. I think first thing I want to show you is just sort of like the scale of this project. So organizationally, we have a whole sidechain group, and then we have a drum group, and then a couple of random synths and stuff here. Scope of this track is kind of crazy. So there's a lot of effects on all these guitars. A lot of them are pretty similar to each other, so I'll probably go over like one or two of those chains. But there's a lot going on effects-wise that I'll touch on probably towards the end, and then some interesting stuff happening on the master track. So we're gonna start with guitars, and then we're gonna go to synths, pianos, drums, and then maybe like favorite effects. So yeah, let's just go straight from the top. I'm gonna solo all these guitars and we will kind of break down what's happening on them. Let's see. Got some guitars fading in. So these guitars are pretty consistent throughout the song. There isn't anything especially crazy. I am using a DI'd guitar with this Ampeg bass amp as my like main guitar sound, and that's just going into like a LA2A style compressor. Don't know that it's doing anything. And then we got Sketch Cassette, which is giving it a little bit of that. Here's the low guitar on its own. On this Type 2 and standard setting, it adds this little bit of grit, and then there's some wow and flutter happening. And then we have, of course, just some delay, kind of giving a little ping pong delay there. And then EQ. The other thing that you'll see a lot in this track is I was using this plugin called S-Pan, or no, not S-Pan. It's called PanPod by Goodhertz. And it's funny to have a plugin that is specifically for panning because you think all panning is like the same, right? But this has different types of panning, and I won't go too much into like what these actually mean, but there's different ways to achieve the effect of panning, like left and right. And my favorite is spectral. I don't know why, but it sounds like the truest like pan. And when you hear the difference side by side, it's pretty amazing. So I used this pan pot for all the panning in the song, and I think that really helped with the spaciousness of the track. But as far as guitars in this beginning part, the main exciting one is this wash guitar. And it's the same guitar chain, except we have Altiverb, and it's this huge, it's like a basilica basically in India. But it's any huge 20-second reverb. You could use a plate reverb or something. And then I'm just sort of getting rid of some of the sides. I'm a huge fan of mono reverbs, or mostly mono reverbs, because you only have so much stereo space, like hard left and right stuff that you can do in an entire mix. But you need to also think about the forward back dimension. And using mono reverbs can really help push stuff further away from you in the mix. So that's what I've done here, is just push that really far away. When you're trying to push something far away from you, like far away forward, you can also roll off some of the low end and roll off some of the high end and add like a really long reverb. If you're trying to bring it closer, that's going to sound like it has more bass, more high end, and less reverb. So that's a little bit of like 3-dimensional mixing, but you want to use a lot of that if you're using a lot of stereo stuff. I digress. So we have some more guitars here. We got the left and right in kind of what I would call the verse. And this was straight out of my Vox. It's like a Vox AC30 or something like that. I don't know if that's the right model, but unfortunately I sold it, and I was like, damn, it actually sounds really good. I kind of wish I still had it. Nothing crazy with these guitars, just panning. And then later on, actually down here, we have these two guitars. I've called them Guitar Mirror and Earnest Guitar. So here's... And then the Guitar Mirror is just sort of an extension of this one. So here comes some more guitars. Kind of that low chugging guitar. And a little note on composition here, I find it to be really effective to build things up. Like this, you can hear these are slowly ramping in volume. I think there's volume automation on these. Yeah, through utility, I'm doing some volume automation to just like bring the level up slowly. But I'm a big fan of building up and then dropping off into a really simple version of kind of what we've created so far. So when you listen to the song, it's dropped off. There's these guitars coming in. It makes you think that there's going to be like a fuller thing about to happen, but right when the song kind of drops, you're actually getting a very stripped down version of it. And then you can start to bring these guitars in later, which creates a lot of movement, which I think that's something that went really well on this song, is like creating movement throughout the track. That's most of the guitars. Yeah. At the end, there's this guitar too. And this is actually a DI'd guitar with this cool shapeshifter plugin. It's like a character compressor. And then this is modeling like a guitar cabinet in a room. Just got some EQ, some gating because it was really noisy, and then a LA2A compressor. Let's go into a reverb send too. That's pretty standard. All right, so that's guitars. The next thing I want to talk about here is the synths. And the synths are cool. I love this plugin called Twin by FabFilter. I'm a big FabFilter fan, but I'll show you what's going on. There's really only synths at the beginning here. So we have this bass. It's very quiet. The goal wasn't to have a lot of bass at the beginning. I wanted most of the bass to happen like once the song dropped. But this gave it a nice grounding at the beginning, and you'll see once I bring in these other synths. So there's the melody. So, you know, it's a saw wave with some noise and some like portamento. And then what you're hearing there is it's a feeding back like delay. I'm trying to see where it's actually coming from. It's coming from within the synth. So, I mean, if you know how to do this, which probably you do if you're watching my channel, it's pretty simple stuff. You just increase the delay amount in the feedback, and whatever like delay time you have set up, it's just gonna kind of chop up over and over. Great way to transition something or like ease it out. And then we have these chords, and I don't know what happened when I was designing these chords, but I love the way that these sound. I made them super wide. You've seen me use this mid-side matrix plugin, but I brought down the mids quite a bit. So what you're getting is mostly a really wide sound. And it's all about balance. Like if I'm gonna do something that wide, I wanna have a lot of stuff in the center too. And you know, you will hear me talking about that a lot. But here's the synths together. And then there's a few little synth moments later on. This is just accentuating kind of a motif that's happening in the song. So now at the beginning we've got this. So it builds up really nicely, a lot of textures, a lot of like space that's happening here. And probably last thing, this is technically a guitar that I should touch on. This is just a feeding back, basically guitar. So it's like kind of tremolo. I held a high chord. And it's kind of cool, like, there's some automation here, so watch this. As it feeds back into like what you might call the drop, the signal's getting more mono. Little things like that. I always say this, but it makes a huge difference. Just like adding that movement. You don't want things to be static. Like this is music. It's like flowing, it's expressive. So the more you can just create motion, any kind of motion, it goes a super long way. Okay, that's pretty much the intro. I think probably now I'll just talk about the pianos. So here's the piano. I'm using this childhood home piano. It comes with Ableton 12. Sounds good. I like it. So at the beginning, here's some more movement that's happening. So it starts out really mono, the whole song. And then right when I bring in these synths, I pan it pretty hard to the left. And the goal of that, kind of like Interstellar, was like once some more elements come in, I want there to be this like stereo moment, like this sort of like breath of fresh air. Like check it out. Like going from narrow to wide a bunch of times throughout the song it's like such an effective like movement tool that you can use. Okay. Other pianos that we have going on here, we got this whirly and the bounce piano later in the song. So I actually, let's see, where's my pianos? So I actually drop the piano for part of this. And we only have these chords. So here's This would be like my Nord piano. It's just like a upright piano preset. So again, with this sort of complicated to simple, like building up to something, and then once it actually drops, it's really minimal. And then we can bring it back in later. So this is continuing on for a couple of bars, and then later on we bring in the piano again. And then we bring in this whirly. And then we bring in this little bounce piano. You can't hear it that well in the track, but just to give it some bounce at one moment. So pianos wise, that's pretty much it. And then the bass is also very simple. I use this all the time. I made a preset called Sat in the Sun Saw, and it just sounds like a saw wave that like sat in a cassette for like for years and years and got kind of crispy. So sketch cassette, it's like modeling a cheap cassette with some wow and flutter and some dropouts, which sound like this. Love that effect. So that's the bass. And then drums are cool. I'm really proud of the drums on this song. So let's kind of deep dive that real quick. And the first thing I want to talk about with the drums is just like the group processing. So we just got some simple compression here. And then I'm running this through Decimort. This is like a bit crusher. I love this plugin. It does more than just bit crushing, but I'm lowering the resolution a little bit to give it that little crunch effect. Then of course we just got some EQ. And then this is cool. This is lossy. And it just simulates like old, like crappy MP3s and stuff. So I have it on the packet loss setting with the speed at 100 and the amount on 4, which basically means every so often what's called like a packet just sort of drops out. So sometimes like the effect of that is sometimes like a snare will be missing, or like a tom will be randomly panned hard left. It just adds a little bit of randomness to the song, and it sounds really cool. Yeah. See, you'll catch a snare like off to the right sometimes. So here's how it's all broken down. We got the crunchy kick snare. Then we got the 80s kit, which is basically just a kit that has like a lot of like gated reverb on it. Cool processing on here. We're using some like tube tape saturation. It's not doing a whole lot. You could live without it. This is gated reverb, so it's reverb for just like a moment and then it cuts off. Here it's like, I like it. It sounds cool. And then we have this sort of acoustic sounding kit. Nothing intense going on here with like processing though. We just have like a saturator basically doing nothing. It's just like bumping up the volume a little bit. And then we have these jazz brushes. I sent this to a reverb return, and it is just emulating the sound of like a recording studio. SARM Studios, it must be famous. Yeah, I just want to get that room sound because I feel like brushes are cool, like close mic'd, but it needs the room sound to sound like actual jazz brushes. So here's the drums soloed. And then other than that, drums stay pretty consistent. I guess not. There is some more reverb that I added on later. Kind of news to me, but let's find it. Yeah, so I just basically sent this drum group to a reverb send, and the reverb send is just looks like it's like a 4-second plate reverb. I think reason I did that is because it drops into an even more minimal version of the song, the second half, and I just wanted it to just feel a little different. I'm trying to find out where this like delay tail is coming from. Oh, I never would expect that. It's the whirly. Yeah. I love doing that. Like just like a delay feeding back as a transition. It took me forever to find that. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, great transition. There's a little bit of cool guitar stuff happening here. So let me bring these up a little bit. So we got this wash guitar. It's been in mostly the same place the whole time. It's kind of like a mono guitar. But as these guitars change up a little bit and get more minimal, I want it to come out on the left side. So I panned it a little bit to the left. See, because at different times in the song, you might want the same element, but in a different place. And I always forget that you can literally just like pan that around. But honestly, that's pretty much the song. I think the last thing that I really want to show you guys is the master chain. This one's really fun because I added, I kind of went off with the master chain. Coolest thing I think that happened on this though is I have a Wolf compressor automated on the master, so on all the quiet parts it's actually dry, there's no Wolf compressor. And then when I bring everything in, I bring up the dry wet and it like glues everything together. And this is where I figured that out, but I started doing that all the time. It's a really cool effect. And then outside of that, so we have, this is just emulating like a, I don't know, like a kind of like a vintage channel, or like a summing amp, if you guys know what that is. So, you know, you could say it's adding like warmth or whatever. And then we have some compression. This is free, by the way. It's a really cool, like limiting, like compressor thing. It sounds really, really warm. Like I know I just like made fun of that, but it like legit sounds like kind of warm. And then sketch cassette, we're bypassing the tape sounds and we're just adding some of these dropouts and a little bit of wow. And then of course we have Wolf compressor. We talked about that. This effect, I'm trying to remember where I actually used it. I'm pretty sure Bureaucratic made this, and when we were in the Netherlands making music on the Chillhop retreat, He like sent this to me or something, and I use it all the time now. It's a great like fade, just sort of like a fade into. It's kind of like a DJ effect, but it just like brings up the mids. It's really nice. And I automated that just for like the parts that I want to sound a little smaller. Wave Scope is a what is it, like a Max for Live kind of plugin, and I like it so that I can see how loud my kicks are compared to the rest of the mix, like kicks and snares. I want to make sure they poke out a little bit, but not too much. And then, you know, Pro Q, doing a little gentle shaping. And then this is a limiter. I've never used this on any song other than this one, but I think it's basically just a regular old limiter. So that's Resilience. This was one of my favorite songs I ever made. It was released on Chillhop Spring 2024, I think. And you know, I feel like it didn't get as much love as I would have liked, because this is, I'm like probably the most proud of the way this like mix came out. And I think it really like resonates with who I think I am as an artist more than maybe any of my other songs. So really happy to dive back in on this one. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I even feel like I learned a lot just diving back into it. So thanks for whoever wanted me to check it out. But that should do it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you know, drop some comments, like let me know which other ones you want to hear, or if there's even any other kind of video that you'd like to see me do. Like, this is super free form, like just let me know. I'm more than happy to kind of experiment and you know, make the kind of content you guys are interested in watching. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.